Hellraisers eliminated along with them as well. But with the draft underway, CIS Rejects on Radiant, they've opted for the Death Prophet Sand King in the first phase, and for NaVi, the Keeper of the Light and the Pangolier.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty solid start for both of these teams, right? And a lot of the big coddle pairings, I suppose, with the Mars, the Chaos Knight, they've been removed by CIS Rejects, and of course, the Anti-Mage against the Sand King. It's always such a very strong lane that you're going to have to try and bully out the SK and really prevent him from hitting some of those super early timings that we've been seeing over the past week or so. 8 to 10, 11-minute blink daggers are pretty devastating on an SK.
Yeah, it's something that we've seen the rise of lately as well, just with the flex. And this is a hero that we've seen the rise of as well so far. China's been a really big fan of the Shadow Shaman. Eastern Europe were picking a lot through the 2-1 regional finals, and now we get to see NaVi pull it out.
We get a Skywrath Mage, a little bit of a block pick actually coming through here from the CIS Rejects. Of course, it is such a great pairing together with that Sand King, but I was thinking maybe they might opt to go down that route. I suppose maybe now that they picked the Shadow Shaman, it probably wasn't going to be the case, but so much burst potential against someone like the Death Prophet that do need to try and take out before she gets good value out of those Spirit Siphons. And the thing is, CIS Rejects, they've still kept a little bit of flexibility in this one, right? You don't know 100% where the Death Prophet is going to be going. Is it going to be a mid lane? Is it going to be off lane? Is it going to be position 5? We don't know, because we've seen plenty of Sand King in that mid lane as well.
I think for CIS Rejects, so this Medusa, yes, it's into a matchup that you like to mention pretty often, the Pangolier, especially if you're able to play it as a core. The Diffusal Blade build with the Aghanims is a great way to be able to burn a lot of the Medusa's damage, but I like the answer pick to the Shadow Shaman. You can go into this Ag Shard and Ag Scepter, so the Hex, the Shackles, heavily mitigated, might force Shaman to think about a BKB just to offer some control in fights.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like any time that you're going up against a Medusa draft, though, you just want to be getting as aggressive as possible. That's not to say CIS Rejects don't have 3 other heroes that are great at doing that, but I mean, a Coddle, a Pango, a Shadow Shaman, they're good at taking objectives, they're good at getting pickoffs, and just being able to stay out on the map as well, particularly once Keeper of the Light picks up that Aghanim Shard for himself with the recall. So I wonder what they're going to look to go for here. You would assume that it's going to be the direct carry-to-carry matchup against the Medusa that they might be looking to go for. They got a lot of magic damage, though, so I'm not sure if the Terrorblade would be the best pick, or if they're going to go down a route that also, I was about to say, is good at doing mana burn. But it's a pretty beefy hero on the Timbersaw. I am a little bit worried about all the magic damage that they've got, though, to be able to burst through this, right? The Stun, Epicenter, Mystic Flare, Ancient Seal, Spirit Siphon. It's a lot for a Timbersaw to have to deal with.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, it's definitely not a free Timbersaw game by any stretch, and you will see how solid Laze has been on the hero. It's been a great addition to NaVi overall, with him coming over from V Gaming. But like you said, it's a lot of magic damage that he has to be worried about, but I feel like his lane could be okay. Like a Timber Shaman, I imagine that's going to be the case, putting the Coddle as a 5. It could be a bit annoying because the DP Spirit Siphon early, but you don't really have a carry really to play aggressive into the Timber, so I think Timber will get that first big item, the Hood, then he'll probably need an item to dispel like the Ancient Seal, which will really amp up the damage, maybe a Spirit Vessel to come out, but you were completely on board with NaVi. They just need to push the tempo incredibly fast. Putting the Pango as a 2 can really help out. But what's a carry that can help also push this tempo? Or can they get a carry that can go really well late game versus the Medusa?
Oh, I'm honestly still giving it a little bit of thought, right? Because this is this going to be a Keeper of the Light mid as well? That's something else that we also need to consider, right? Like it could be a Pango 4, for example. It still could be the Pango 3, mid lane, but against the Sand King, it's a little bit of a worry. So even NaVi, they've kept their things a little bit open as well. I'm just thinking, do you need to rely on that super early tempo if you've got this Coddle that's just out on the map, constantly getting kill after kill after kill? So that's really where my mind is at the moment. They've got decent jump. They've got decent survivability once they jump with the Sand King, the Death Prophet, and the Medusa. So something like a Drow isn't great. You don't really want to lean into this. What else we got?
Yeah, Drow, if this was someone else, we've seen a lot of the Sniper so far, but I I think that's a little bit of the same concern with the sniper being able to, sorry, the Sand King being able to jump, and the Death Prophet, if it's a played as a core, you can just go blink and get on top of these ranged heroes. So see, those CIS rejects, they still, what are we looking for them? Of course, the Ember Puck banned out, so NaVi thinking that it's going to be the Depressed Kid hero.
Yeah, I think even just going something like a... Honestly, even like a Kunkka wouldn't be too bad here. Not really a Depressed Kid style of hero, but he's much more on the flashy Spirit styles, and he does go for the Storm Spirit.
Instant pick.
Instant PA, huh? Really banking on the late game. Well, it is a burst, right, to be able to take out someone like the Skywrath Mage and the Death Prophet, but I'm not super on board with a PA into something like a Sand King, right? Anytime you've got a melee hero into the Sand King, it's just so hard to be able to trade with those CS, considering you have to contend against the Sandstorm, the Caustic Finale. It's a lot. It's going to be a Shadow Shaman in the position 5 role as well. So Timber Coddle and then a mid Pangolier going up against this Storm Spirit. Great value out of a Diffusal early on, though, for no one.
I feel like no one is... If Navi are able to take this game, I think it's going to be off the back of no one's early Diffuser Blade. So my eyes are on how Sweet and Strong can try and take stacks early, or at least make stacks early. Definitely the Keeper of the Light is one of the best supports to be able to do so, but can you capitalize on that, with the early Diffusal and go from there? Because I'm a bit concerned about this PA Deucer matchup towards the later stages.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it might be another one of those instances where, like, we've seen plenty of teams go for this 4 protect 1, and all you really need to do is not focus the 1, focus the other 4, because they've given up a lot of their own games to make sure that the real position 1, the hyper carry, is secured. So if that's the mindset that they might look to go for here on Navi, you know, take out the supporting cast, remove the Skywrath Mage, for example, really quickly from the occasion, I think they still potentially have a shot, but they're going to need to do everything right.
So you feel like the margin of error is just a little bit low here for Navi? Is that a concern that I'm hearing?
Yeah, it is for me. The thing as well is I know Sweden Strong is going to be spending a lot of his time going for these stacks like we've been talking about. And, you know, with a Timbersaw, you are a hero that can be left in the lane, particularly against this, even the Death Prophet, right? Like, yes, it's a position 5. Yes, the Spirit Siphon's going to do a decent amount for you, but the Medusa needs to be farming, right? So I think he can even look to go behind the Tier 1 tower and then just tank up a creep wave and not really care all that much about what FNG is going to try and do to him.
Well, let's see as we get underway. CIS Rejects against Navi. Our first game of the night. As we do get a little bit of tips and some good luck. Have fun, boys, as we get ourselves underway. Of course, some ex-teammates. But what a beautiful way to kick our night off.
Also got the thing that I was talking about yesterday when we were wrapping up CIS Rejects win. In that Miro, he's again gotten his Sand King. And I really feel like his performance on Sand King is so far ahead of some of his other heroes. And not to say he's bad on other heroes, but he is like, you know, top tier on this SK. So I'm keen to see how he's able to repay the faith that his team put in him. You know, he had the pick in that first phase, the last pick, and so it's clearly trying to build the draft more heavily around that.
Well, Miro actually might take some damage here. In fact, he might even give up first blood. They have the Orb of Venom slow, but a Burrow Strike down to the south puts Miro a little bit out of harm's way, so nicely done. It's a lot of damage, but we will have... What is it going to be? A 2 for 2 in the bounty. So, off to a solid start. Nothing crazy. This mid matchup, though, we have seen it before. Pangli versus the Storm Spirit, I think a couple times so far through the 2-2 finals. What's your opinion about the matchup? Do you feel like no one has a slight edge, or is Depressed Kid with the Storm Spirit in a more favored matchup?
I personally think it's about even, just because, yeah, you're going to be taking a little bit more harass on no one's side, but you've got the shield crash, right? It's just really effective at being able to go for these trades. I think that's really what you want to be leveling up early on, just so that there's very minimal downtime. And you know you're going up against a Storm Spirit who's going to be spamming those static remnants. So, yeah, he's going to get the bottle first, but a simple magic stick means that you can constantly be spamming out that shield crash. The bigger thing for mine, though, is this top lane. It feels like it means Vatoon's going to be able to get those early couple of creep waves without as much contestion. Yes, you didn't get the kill onto the Sand King, but just the fact that you had to level up the Burrow Strike instead of the Sandstorm or the Caustic is actually a pretty big deal in enabling the PA to get a good time in this first couple of waves.
You see they're trying to get aggressive on Roger, but he just slips through the tree line. And are you kind of surprised about Vitoon going for this Orb of Venom? Like, do you think this is a lane where Phantom Assassin can actually get pretty aggressive and maybe even hunt down some kills?
I'd say so. I mean, a big part of why the anti-mage is good is because you've got, of course, the mana burn, but also just the impact of now the when they've got 0 mana, you get that little bit of a slow. Orb of Venom kind of provides a similar sort of thing, plus the Stifling Dagger on top.
They're going to start to get aggressive on Roger. They've got the level 2 already on Vitoon. Roger under the pump. Another dagger up in a couple of seconds. And Vitoon is going to have to go up against extra health for the wand, even diving out of the tower. But he held the Phantom Strike just to retreat in the nick of time. So a lot of resources expended. Sky popping that self, so Roger's going to have to make a trip all the way back to base. There's now Miro. I mean, his solo. He has a lot of stick charges to play with, up to 10 with the fairies. But Vitoon, abilities back off cooldown. There's going to be no escape for the CIS rejects offlaner this time as NaVi hit the board in our game 1.
Very, very nice. Really, again, it's all about taking those tiny little advantages whenever you can. The fact that Vitoon was able to hit up onto that level 2, nearly level 3, slightly before the Sand King meant that they were able to get just that little bit more aggressive. Now Rogers hit level 3 because he had to get back to the lane a little bit sooner. But even just this creates space for Solo to be able to get one of these pulls off and just enable the PA to get more and more farms. So a hero that notoriously needs to be super greedy isn't able to do so just because of a tiny little mistake.
See the CIS rejects in their side with Ramses in the safe lane. Having a pretty good, decent time at the moment. 17 and 5. F&G's been able to pull the wave. I'm more intrigued just to see how NaVi look to play this. You know, the Lays Timbersaw, in general, Timbersaw is a hero that likes to play solo once you kind of hit level 4, level 5. So I imagine Sweet and Strong, once he sees the Timbersaw at a stage where he can play solo, might just think about making stacks in the jungle and avoiding bottom.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely the plan. And there's also the aspect of, as soon as the Shadow Shaman hits level 6, you actually have decent Roche taking potential, right? All you need to do is rotate maybe one other hero towards the area, and you just place the Timbersaw on the other side of the map, and CIS rejects then need to make a choice, right? Do we defend our towers? Do we allow this Timbersaw to start getting out of control? Or do we prevent, like, a super early 12-minute Roshan?
See the conversion, though, from CIS rejects and the supports to mid. Making sure that no one unable to get any of the water runes. Just before that occurred as well, F&G blocked the hard camp along with the Ancients. And now we've seen the Pangolier a decent amount so far through the Southeast Asian Division 1 games. Of course, Polaris in particular with Lelouch playing, it looked exceptional. And one way they were able to enable Lelouch on the hero was giving him early stacks, getting a super early diffusal blade timing, and just running rampant across the map. And I think that is the big timing that no one is looking for. So the fact that they've just slowed that down a little bit from blocking up camps is huge from FNG.
Yeah, too true. I think Doan's still doing a pretty decent job in this mid lane, though. He's bullied out the press kit entirely. He's looking to get his level 6 at a pretty decent timing. So let's see what he's able to do with it. Even, oh, look at this. Just these cheeky little plays, right? Denying a creep wave right on into the tower. Means that the press kit isn't going to be able to get as active. He just zips straight on back to the fountain, wanting to get back to that lane as quickly as possible to at least secure the range creep, but the job is done by no one.
Oh, truly. But it's been more of a passive start to our laning phase. But where can we see this kind of break out into more action as well? Maybe top as Vitoon instantly jumps, but a Burrow Strike's gonna hold him back as Miro and Roger still not in really fighting shape as Vitoon still feels like he can chase Roger under the tier 1 tower. One more right click, but the concussive slow, is it actually enough as Roger evades the gank one more time?
It's twice now. It's really, they got some happy feet going on in this top side of the map, and it doesn't mean you're securing kills, but again, have a look at what it means for the Sand King's net worth. It's way down there at the bottom of the cores. So Vitoon, he's still going to feel pretty happy about this. Solo making another pull happen. That's something that I really feel like Solo has improved upon a lot, is his laning stage.
I think this is something we mentioned a lot as well yesterday when we were casting CIS Rejects. We saw Miro, it was often they were relying on this position 3 Sand King. Let's actually hold that thought. No one. Charging up the Rolling Thunder. Doesn't really have any walls to be able to bounce back on to even get the kill on Roger, unfortunately. So, ultimate expended without getting the double damage.
Just thinking as well about some of these BKB timings on the CIS rejects. I mean, Storm Spirit likes to get it, but it's really dependent on the player, right? It's not always, 5 Null Talismans. It's not always going into the Karen Sanj. It's not always going into the Aghanim Scepter. Some people prefer the BKB a little bit earlier on, and particularly against the Pangolier, especially now, it's going to be so much more effective as FNG.
Yeah.
Dive.
An easy kill for no one. Nice read as well from NaVi, just recognizing that Raiden kind of overstepped onto their side to try and take the stack away. They see Depressed Kid. I don't know without Rolling Thunder if they can get it. Maybe they can blow him up without him being wary of this, though. They're trying to charge up the blast. Oh, is it enough? Oh! NaVi! Oh, yep. Cute play once again under the ward. He was not expecting all of that burst. And no one rewarded for the kill. Gives the instant tip over as well to Depressed Kid.
And the instant pings as well, right? Where that ward's going to be. FNG moves to the area and says, well, can't really expect one to be there. I can't be in all places at the same time. Yeah, no one really popping off.
Now they want to take away some own stacks and even scout out. I think it looking like a triple at the heart. There's a lot of the Ancients as well. And actually Miro, he's just going to venture into the wrong neighborhood. The Sand King unable to stand his ground. Or Kenki, no one's off the mark with the stuns. Now Depressed Kid's in and he wants revenge after the previous death. And he'll get it. No one.
Might go for this dive.
Yeah, why not? No one's out of mana. Already used his abilities prior, but it's like the Pango. Yeah, they're gonna do so. FNG stalking his prey with the help of the Storm Spirits. Magic damage. They'll make it a third, and what do you know? Depressed Kid. He will not forget. You tip him, he'll give you one right back.
Let him know at every single stage. A lot of this is attention being taken away from the position ones. You would have to say that it's probably the Medusa that's a little bit happier about that. Of course, stronger carry-to-carry matchup that they've got there. And the important thing is that no one does die. Diffuser Blade timing still going to come at a reasonable pace, though. He's number 1 on the net worth right now.
Top lane, again, Vatoon and Solo. They're onto Miro, and it looks like Miro, he's recognizing there's going to be no escape, and Vatoon is just getting way too much out of this laning phase. It's going to be another kill to add to the tally, and this Battle Fury will be coming out at quite a decent timing, and would you be worried right now for CIS rejects with how Vatoon is looking, or will they still have an answer shortly with how aggressive they can get on the Storm Spirit?
I think it's... Oh, speaking of Vatoon, he's actually getting dived up, hit by Depressed Kid, wanting to get rid of a lot of that unreliable gold. Will he buy anything? Yes, he does. The broadsword just before the death, so he doesn't lose anything.
Take out the Sweet and Strong. So there you go. I was kind of questioning, like, should you be worried right now for CIS rejects? The Phantom Assassin's got a lot out of the lane, but I mentioned Storm is going to be that big factor early to kind of offset Miro's rougher laning stage, because a lot of the time yesterday it was really Miro that unlocked the draft from CIS rejects. You needed this early blink timing on the Sand King to help out with the skies and kind of that burst potential they had along with it. So it's nice that they have a Storm Spirit to kind of have a second hero that can really be that playmaker early to help with Roger's aggression.
Instant D-Ward coming out there from Solo. Just placing one of those super defensive ones, realizing that, okay, they know that we're probably going to be starting to rotate back towards our own jungle at some stage to make sure that the Pangolier is able to pick up a little bit more of that farm. Of course, eventually the PA as well.
Dude, look at the stacks. Ramsey's loving life. I was thinking if maybe NaVi thought about moving the Timbersaw over here, considering he has a pretty good start, but yeah, looks like they're okay. Maybe they're going to converge on mid, try and take an early tier 1 tower here to really open up the map.
I think they can absolutely look to do so, and they're not going to want to use the Mass Serpent Wards for this one. Solo, he's got the Tome of Knowledge coming out to him with the Timbersaw plus that Siege Creep. They should have plenty of damage to do this. I think then they'll look to try and make a rotation through the triangle. They'll see that it's warded, so no harm, no foul. You want to make sure that you're saving those Mass Serpent Wards for the Roshan attempt.
Yeah, they're onto FNG again, so Vatoon adding another kill, and you see no one. It's like 100%, you are my win condition, you are my carry, I'll let you get the kill. He gives that one over to the Phantom Assassin, continuing to find a lot out of this, but it still has to be mentioned. You've got Ramsey's top of the net worth, about 1,000 over the Phantom Assassin.
Look at this, instant smoke, and you could think that they might be going up towards the top lane, and they might actually do so, considering they would have seen Depressed Kid underneath that Observer Ward previously. So a little bit of surprise factor could be coming through here.
Just got Diffusal. This is huge. A big timing for Na'Vi. It's all going to be on the Shaman to unlock this. They need the Hex. They need the control for Depressed Kid.
Look at all that damage.
Yeah, Roger. Oh, even F&G. They're going to commit. Exo's out, but it seems like they're in two minds. Depressed Kid wants to retreat, but F&G, he wanted to fight. First Exo completely wasted, and now Na'Vi. Maybe they can catch out some more heroes. He's going to try and swing over towards the secret shot. Miro, under the cover of the Sandstorm, will just escape.
Just a little bit slow on using the Chakra Magic over there to no one. He's really the one that's being enabled by a lot of this aggression. As Depressed Kid, oh no!
Oh, that's a huge play from Na'Vi, catching out the Storm Spirit with his pants down. He wanted the rune. Unfortunately, it spawned bottom. Another death on the Storm, and we take a look at that replay. It just was all Na'Vi in the last fight.
Just feels like their cohesion is next level. They're going to look to try and find out Ramses as well. Again, the Diffusal Blade plus a double damage.
Although it's a lot of damage. Great timing with the Ancient Seal. Can they turn it around? Epicenter burst on the outranges. Miro finds the damage, but Lays, he might be able to turn this one around. They do not have an answer to the Timber Saw. They're probably happy with that. No one high value target. If they can get that kill and get out without sacrificing anything, then you would be happy for CIS rejects.
The first missed kill shot, and this is what I was talking about, right? The window for error is just so much smaller because they've been doing everything basically perfect up until this stage, but one little miss there means that he's got enough mana to be able to use the Mystic Snake, the Stone Gaze, and ends up costing him his own life. And the Shaman. Maybe back him off a little bit here. Straight back on in.
Yeah, Depressed Kid. Easy kill, but now no one's rolling Thunder Fast. Should close it. This. You see Rogers. Yep. I know I'm going to be stunned up afterwards. May as well just cancel the TP. Ooh. There's going to be no escape. Depressed Kid? I don't know.
Yeah, they zipped right on top of the roll.
It's like, do they go for this dive? I don't know if this is the play, but a 1-for-1. While all this was going on, Phantom Assassin, he has this Battle Fury completed. So V-Tune well on his way to finding that next item, BKB. But we're not done just yet down bottom. Depressed Kid, unfortunately, doesn't have the mana to really zip on fall, but all they needed was that one drag back, so Miro has to blink to follow up, but no one! Oh, he's not even dead! No
Chakra in one.
Survives. They can give him the Chakra, swashbuckle back up, but double for the Pango. And now Depressed Kid can solo get the vision. They kill him! In front of the trees before he TPs out. Solo catches him with the Hex, and Na'Vi find 3 kills, 0 casualties on the side of Dire.
Yeah, keep the pressure up. You just see how much this Diffusal Blade does, right, against these magic heroes.
Look at this,
it's an easy
Danog.
kill. And even making a rotation through with your PA. Again, she got about a 13-minute Battle Fury, so it was a really nice timing. Not naked either, with the Battle Treads, Orb of Venom, full Magic Wand. She's already a decent portion towards picking up that BKB to truly get active with the rest of the team.
What's the game plan right now for CIS Rejects? Because you need to stem the bleeding. You need to try and slow this game down. 15 kills for Na'Vi is exactly how they have to be playing this game. Getting aggressive early, taking the map. But how can CIS Rejects slow this one down?
Fortunately for Solo, he walks underneath a Sentry Ward. Otherwise, they would have had the setup onto Ramses. Honestly, I think it's just trying to make a little bit more space for Miro. Actually, he's got the Blink Dagger, so it's not horrible, but they're looking to make a rotation with that. Try and take that because you've still got the advantage of this Medusa having more than 1,000 net worth lead over anyone on Navi's side, even though the kill score is more than double.
So we'll run into Solo. Yeah, 2 pickoffs across the map. There you go. And this is definitely something that CIS Rejects also have in their arsenal. Storm has pickoff potential. You know, we just saw it onto Sweden Strong. And we haven't even seen this kind of blink into, you know, burst from Roger as well. So really the first time that Miro's been and Roger have been able to flex their muscles, and this is now giving them some breathing room. You drop a nice Observer Ward top, it can kind of protect your Dusa from pushing out aggressively.
Yeah, and the thing is as well that they made sure not to layer unnecessary damage, right? The stun plus the Mystic Flare and Ancient Seal, it's plenty to be able to take out a support. They want to make sure that they're saving that Epicenter so that you can use the double combination together on one of the more tanky heroes, or you just use them one after the other, right? All you really need to do is wait for your Blink Dagger cooldown. Also doing a great job of denying a lot of experience straight on into the tower. They could keep this siege creep alive on the top side, so they'll do a decent chunk to the tower unless they use the glyph there. He's having to be a little bit careful though. NaVi, they're kind of zoned in on top of him, but it's not going to be until Vatoon gets that BKB that they really want to full-on commit, go for a team fight, transition that into Roshan, and try and take some more towers for themselves.
You see the raid though from either teams. The CIS rejects looking to play on the top portion of the map, and it's NaVi down bottom. They don't want to venture into their own jungle on NaVi. Just a little bit wary that maybe CIS rejects are waiting there in anticipation with the Sky and Sand King just to jump in them and blow one hero up.
This is only about 50 gold away from picking up a Skadi, a 17-minute Skadi with a Manta Style and a Dragon Lance on top of that. It's level 17 at 17 minutes.
Oh, you got the Manta just yet. You just went casual Yasha. It'd be a little bit crazier if you did have that one.
Let me dream, okay?
Let me dream, okay. But Ramsey's still in it. The point is still there. Ramsey's has had a really good early game. 234 last hits. The Medusa has been untouched so far, and CIS Rejects have done a very good job to make stacks for the Medusa. You know, we saw multiple of the Ancients and the Hard that Ramses was able to free farm. And now this puts you in a really good position because of Skadi. I mean, it's a great way to deal with the Timber. Just a little bit of the reduction in his HP regen. Of course, it can be a bit annoying for the Phantom Assassin because he is going for BKB next as well.
I really want to see Ramses go next item BKB now. I don't think you need to finish up that Manta Style just yet. You want to be there to address a lot of the aggression, particularly because Vatoon is shown on lane a couple of times, so they know the item build. They know that this BKB is coming.
Net worth is favoring NaVi. It's continuing to grow for them. You see Miro and Roger still playing around with this observer at top, and it means that the Sand King isn't really growing in regards to net worth. See, Ramses, he's venturing very aggressively, maybe just baiting, hoping that someone catches out this dangling hero so Miro can jump in.
Yeah, but you can see Vatoon's here, right? He's got that BKB available.
Oh no, not a choke point like this.
Miro,
this is what he's been waiting for them all to group up. And Vatoon blows up the backline. Depreskin's going to try and deal with the support as well. As Solo is in trouble. Can he get the shackles long enough to be able to keep him alive? Shaman's going to be killed off, but now with the TP out, Medusa, nice read. Lacking the stuns with Solo's death. Depreskin, okay, he's going to be alright. Zip down to the south, the TP. That was exo committed once again to no avail, but I don't think NaVi will get anything out of it with the Serpent Ward's use. They can't consider Roshan.
Not quite. Until the PA at least gets into that Desolator for herself, will you be able to make that conversion. So, I mean, the fact that they were able to get away with only one death there and also expending a buyback on Solo, I'd say CIS Rejects are incredibly happy with how that first team fight went with the PA BKB.
Did kind of see, though, something you were mentioning before, is that maybe NaVi, their game plan is just to kill everyone else and leave Medusa to last. Like, that's where the PA can come into play, because I think she just two-hit Roger in that fight. So that could just be a bit of an entree for how the rest of the fights break out.
I think so. I mean, they were very close in getting the Rolling Thunder in onto a few of those TPing targets as well. It's just this damn boulder next to where they took the team fight that ended up stopping it, but they're just going again, right? BKB back on cooldown in 3 seconds.
Vtoon again is going to be on the support on the backline.
Where's the
FNG, they need a couple of crits. Vtoon praying to RNG. Jesus, finally he gets the kill. And CIS Rejects, they have to evacuate away from the area. But it looks like, oh, Miro just makes it, in fact. It didn't have a way to cancel the TP, but maybe with these 2 deaths, they consider Roche.
I mean, they've got points in the Lucky Shot, 3 points in Lucky Shot, so it should be enough with the Orb of Corrosion. You don't quite have the Desolator yet, but with that daytime, with the Illuminate coming through, it's going to make sure that you're just incredibly healthy in this team fight. No Epicenter for a couple of seconds either, and Lay's really putting himself out there to just try and chase down anyone that's going to try and
They might be in trouble. Ramses, he was hitting the T1 tower, so still posturing aggressively, but a Stone Gaze TP out once again. There's going to be no answer, but NaVi really fast from them. Roche instantly outside the base, and they're going to run into
Solo's found
Depreskin again.
Depreskin.
Solo! Oh, great timing from Miro. Jumps over the tree line, offers a save for Depreskin. He puts his body on the line to keep the position 2 alive.
There's just 2 casual bounty runes sitting right next to him as well, so NaVi get a little bit of an extra bonus for their troubles. It really does feel like, you know, I was talking about the other day that the Sand King, it really feels like it is Miro's best hero. And if you were just looking at this game in isolation, you probably wouldn't think that. But I think that's just big credit to NaVi in realizing that if they get the option to, they're going to go for this Sand King at every chance that they could. And they just picked a lineup that was going to contest it and be super aggressive and deny him the ability to have that good game.
Yeah, we're seeing whenever Miro's under vision, Navi's just jumping. Like, it's either V2 and go for a support, no one goes for Sand King. So Miro's Sand King, and just, like you said, really taking him out of the equation, making sure he doesn't have a good game. And it's going to be even easier now. No one, he just completed a basher and working on the Aghanims next. So now you got to be worried about not only Diffusal, but also the basher through the Swashbuckle.
Yep. Not as easy to just TP on away. He's actually going for the MKB on Ramses here. I understand it. I understand wanting to go for a little bit more of that damage, particularly against the PA, but it really feels to me like this BKB is going to have a huge impact for him.
Yeah, we'll see if Ramses is able to get that after the MKB, or what the consideration is going to be. He's up to level 20 now, so it does have that Stone Gaze duration. It's always a big one versus the Pango, especially through Rolling Thunder and the Phantom Assassin. But I guess that is the one thing about CIS Rejects. It might be a bit early to mention, but their tower defense is very, very strong. So this is something that NaVi have to take into consideration.
To find FNG here inside the trees. Tune. Spidey senses are tingling. No one just missing out, and he's going to TP away. So they're doing a decent job on CIS Rejects, right? To force a lot of rotations where you're not farming. Miro just hugging this tree line here, making sure to keep this wave pushed out, distract away.
Eyes on top, Solo. He's going to get Depressed Kid. He's playing like a bait.
Oh,
he
no,
went for
he's
the
not.
Serpent Wards first. He won't get him, and now Depressed Kid turns it around, but he's going to respect the crits. Vatoon doesn't have enough to kill off the Storm Spirit, but they'll get Roger instead.
Very odd choice to go for the Serpent Wards first. Surely you just Hex and then into the Serpent Wards. You might get the Shackles cancelled by the Ancient Seal, but the important thing is to get that initial lockdown.
Ramses might have to Stone Gaze defensively again. Got a couple of heroes playing behind him. Miro's in. A double Burrow Strike, and maybe they can turn it around. Vatoon does have the Aegis advantage at targeting lanes at the moment, but there's no trees to chain to. But Vatoon jumps over, crits down Miro. NaVi, do they want to continue the fight? No one's in, but he doesn't have the ultimate. Ramses is a big threat, even without the MKB, so Vatoon's just going to aim the supports. Doesn't have the damage to kill off FNG. Now, can they set themselves up for round 2? NaVi, though, all signs of a retreat. They cannot battle into the Medusa now without the Aegis and without the Timber.
But I feel like once the Timber's back alive, you can actually just immediately look to go back into it, right? That's the advantage of having these relatively lower cooldowns. Pango's Rolling Thunder up in another 3 seconds. Stone Gaze still not available for about 40. And PA didn't actually use the BKB at all in that previous team fight. So if I'm NaVi, I'm looking to try and continue pushing the tempo even further. No Epicenter either, right? No Exo. This is the time.
Yeah, we just see that replay back. A double burrow from Miro was perfect. We've spoken a lot about his Sand King and how solid he's looked on the hero. Of course, it's been a bit of a difficult game, but still, he's showing that when he doesn't have as much net worth, he can still find some way to have impact in the game. If we can continue to see the Sand King find these multi-man burrows and even big epicenters, then who knows? CIS Rejects, it's only a 4,000 deficit. And now Dusa has that MKB, so Ramses has a way to be able to deal with the Phantom Assassin. It's almost like you can't avoid her now.
Yeah, but the thing is as well, he just went for the evasion talent, but it's at the exact same time that the MKB was picked up by Ramses. And I mean, have a look at these other heroes on CIS Rejects. Do any of them really care about evasion all that much? I'd say no. You know, Storm Spirit's job is to be able to clear out these backlines, the squishier heroes that aren't going to be dead center in the middle of a team fight.
And look at this, they actually feel strong enough to be able to take a tier 2. I don't blame them as well. They've starting to build some momentum on CIS Rejects. They've got very good wards up top as well, so you would love to take a fight, but with the other lanes positioning like they are, you might be forced back eventually to deal with mid and bottom.
No glyph remaining, so Ramses is just going to be backed up by the rest of his team as they're going to continue this push forward. It's really just playing her out the second Roshan, right? That's going to be key. You mentioned previously the importance of, you're up against a Shadow Shaman, a decent amount of single target as well coming through from the things like the Stifling Dagger, from the Solar Bind as well, from the Keeper of the Light. If you're able to get that Aghanim Shard from the second Rosh, then eventually build into an Aghanim Scepter for yourself, then that provides you with so much more survivability. Not that you needed it as this Dusa.
Yeah, honestly, I'd be really scary if CIS rejects get that second Rosh, because otherwise, we've seen Ramsey still flawless, 1-0 and 2, and this is often what we see on a Medusa. You get one item, all of a sudden he's got another item. So if he gets the shard, I mean, Scepter's going to come out a couple of minutes afterwards, and then solo, his impact in fights is heavily mitigated.
Your tier 3s are being hit right now, CIS rejects, and FNG actually popped the Exorcism, so he's going to have barely any duration left on it when he comes down to defend this. They'll see that the spirits are running as well, so I wonder if that'll give Na'Vi a bit more confidence to want to say, well, actually, we can probably take a team fight because this DP is pretty useless right now.
There we go, some ex-teammate banter. I don't know what it is, but it deserves a tip. Solo, giving one over to Ramses.
Similar to what I was talking about previously with the top tower being taken out from CIS rejects, being able to remove the outpost from the Dire control. It's all about Na'Vi looking to take out this mid-tier 2 tower, excuse me. It's only got about 100 HP left, and then they want to make the rotation towards top.
They've got the support behind the Dusa. How do you kill her off? I don't know. Solo's going to try. Control is out. The mana slowly being burnt away. Where's the counter initiation? It might be too late. Ramses gets no assistance as Na'Vi. A huge pick off. Now they're on to Depressed Kid. But a zip down to the south. He's out at mana. Depressed Kid's farming. He's farming creeps. No, Na'Vi fighting with a tree line. Depressed Kid's gone. Beyond godlike for Vatoon. Tips are deserved, and now the tower's soon to be under siege along with the high ground.
Say that tip from Solid of Vatoon is probably saying, like, I know this guy. I've played way too many pubs with him. Even if he's trying to retreat, he's still going to be farming, and he was on the money.
That was Nero. No way, is he going to go for this? Epic burst on Vatoon. They've got the Mystic Flare. Is it going to be enough? Vatoon shrugs it off. Phantom Strike down, and CIS rejects. They were so close to bursting the Phantom Assassin, but just not enough in the tank.
Really nicely done by Laze as well to make sure he was soaking up a lot of that damage.
Nero gets a lot of health back, but it doesn't matter. Sweet and Strong's Illuminate cuts away the life for the Sand King. Now the wards are back in the arsenal, and the full set of barracks soon to be claimed.
Now, I don't want to say that I'm too much of a BKB enjoyer, but it does kind of feel like maybe Ramses feels like you should have one right now. He's still got the Satanic queued up, and I get it. You know, you've got a lot of that increased damage coming in onto you that is Satanic's just able to get rid of.
Once again, but a nice force stuff out of the Mystic Flare. Maybe they can just blow up the Death Prophet. It's really not tanky.
This is coming in.
Vatoon, easy kill, but like you said, Deuce is back alive. Can they kite her though? Sonke's slowly wearing out. Maybe they go back in afterwards. They need a way to be able to cancel the shackles. It puts Depressed Kid's body on the line, but is instantly killed off. All eyes on the Medusa, how she can turn this around. I don't know if Ramses has the health pool nor the mana to do so. Help, it's out. Control is there. They kite her into oblivion. No Dusa, no Ramses. You've got some buybacks, but it looks like Na'Vi doesn't care. Has ever had enough? Na'Vi take game 1, 30 minutes in. What a showing.
And there goes the tip coming on through from Sweet and Strong over to Ramses. I mean, even just there in that team fight, right? Just getting chain locked down over and over again. No BKBs, not just for the stun aspect, but you're up against this Pangolier who had the Aghanim Scepter as well. So he's always going to be using the Swashbuckle. He's always going to be using the Shield Crash, which gives the extra use of the Swashbuckle. Diffusal Blades just really start to rack up there, and he just didn't feel like he could fight at that stage. So I understand he farmed incredibly well there on Ramses, but the greed was incredibly strong too.
This puts us in quite a position now for our second game. It just, with how Na'Vi, they addressed this first pick Death Prophet as well, it's something that a lot of people have been saying. This is a hero that is a must ban in the first phase, but NaVi, they let it through. They proved they have the answers. F&G had no impact this game, unfortunately, through fights. 1, 8, and 4 for him. And we just saw how NaVi was able to shut down the early game as well. Miro often unlocks the draft and unlocks how they can get aggressive, find these pickoffs. But the Sand King struggled, and we saw NaVi. I mean, that was the fact. I was hesitant. Vitoon's always got a really good Phantom Assassin. We saw how they could pull it out, but that was just perfect. They dressed everyone else and left Dusa till last when they had the items to deal with Ramses.
And even just like the action that they put on from the first 20 or so minutes of the game, right? Constantly looking to focus the Sand King. He was well behind in net worth just because they put every little bit of attention onto it. And I'm sure Ramses was thinking, this is great. They don't care. I'm just farming away. I'm doing whatever the hell I want. But then when it came to that second last team fight where the Medusa died around the triangle cliff ward, you had Miro sitting in the trees to the left-hand side. He was constantly pump faking his epicenter thinking, man, if I blink in, I'm probably just going to die afterwards. There's not just the right time. The BKBs were gone. There wasn't a real reason to wait for that counter initiation, and he still didn't go. So Dota, of course, you have to be good mechanically, but it is still a mental game, and it felt like there was a little bit of panic that came into the CIS rejects towards the end of that one.
There you go, NaVi now 1 game away of eliminating some of their ex-teammates and CIS rejects, at least down to, of course, the 3rd place bracket, but still, this puts him in prime position to be able to move on in this series. But the question is, can they continue with the momentum into the second game? We'll find out after the break.